Thanks for tuning into the BoshNRoll channel. Liking and subscribing the channel is free and easy, and it helps me out a lot. If you want to go a little farther with your support, I have Patreon and YouTube membership available, which includes access to the BoshNRoll Discord server, early access to things I'm working on, sideboard plans, cards I'm buying. You could have me play your deck on the channel, and the highest tiers come with individual coaching sessions. If you use the YouTube membership option, you get sweet, unique YouTube badges and emotes for the channel. If you want to play what I'm playing, you can use the code BoshNRoll to support my channel while you shop for cards at tcgplayer.com. And if you're playing on Magic Online, a cardhoarder.com loan account can let you play any deck anytime. If you want to wear your support, there is BoshNRoll merch available. All of these links are in the video description below. Thank you so much for watching. Now let's go play some Magic. Welcome to another BoshNRoll video. Today I'm playing Legacy, and at the request of Michael Caffrey from Tales of Adventure, I am playing Food Chain. Michael is a person I've known probably 15 years now. We live in the same area. We were both judges together. We live in the same state. And he went on to open a game store, toamagic.com, game and comic, and check out toamagic.com. Tales of Adventure usually has a big booth. If you've traveled to any Grand Prix or anything, they're usually buying, selling, set up pretty well there. Michael has sponsored this league, and Ever the Troll sent me this list to update, and you may or may not be able to see this. Let me zoom in a little. This is my own deck that I wrote about on Star City Games on June 7th, 2011. I made top 64 of Grand Prix Providence with Food Chain. This was my first pro point back when pro points were a thing, my first Grand Prix day 2, and this list is insane. This is a very honest Food Chain deck. It was before we had Mist Hollow Griffin. It was before we had Eternal Scourge or anything that really went crazy. And I really was just working my way up the food chain, like sack a 2 to cast a 3, sack the 3 to cast a 4, etc. Muldrifter, you evoke Muldrifter, you get to draw 2 cards and then make 6 mana. This deck was wild. And at the top end, we're just trying to cast Emrakul. This was a fun tournament to play in. The technology has moved on a lot, though. I mentioned them before. We have Mist Hollow Griffin and Eternal Scourge now. If you're not familiar with the card Food Chain, 3 mana green enchantment, exile a creature you control, add X mana of any one color, where X is 1 plus the exiled creature's mana value, and spend this mana only to cast creatures. So the flavor of that is the little creature gets eaten by a bigger creature, then that gets eaten by a bigger creature, etc. Go up the food chain. The practical application is there are now multiple cards you could cast from exile. So Eternal Scourge, you may cast it from exile. If it gets targeted by anything, it gets exiled. So you spend 3, get Eternal Scourge, exile it, you get 4. Because you can cast it from exile. You cast it, you have 1 floating, exile it, get another 4. Now you have 2 floating. And you get infinite mana that you can spend on creatures. Mist Hollow Griffin works the same way. Just 3/3 flyer you can cast from exile. So you could get infinite mana with Food Chain, but you have to cast it on creatures. That takes us to the rest of the deck, which Walking Ballista is a creature that wins the game if you have infinite mana. Uro is a powerful way to shred through your deck if you have infinite mana, because you can cast the front half of Uro, let it die, cast the back half of Uro, as long as you have 5 cards in your graveyard. Also, cool thing about escaping Uro, if Eternal Scourge or Mist Hollow Griffin ended up in your graveyard somewhere, somehow you can exile them to escape Uro, and now they're in exile for you to cast some more. You can also pitch Mist Hollow Griffin to Force of Will and then cast it later. Just a little hill giant attached to what's normally a 1/2. You just get a straight up 1/1 out of it. Manipulate Fate, super cool magic card that is insane in exactly this deck. Search your library for 3 cards and exile them, draw a card. This is a 2 mana draw 4. You exile the Eternal Scourge, the 2 Griffins. They're in exile for whenever you're ready for them. Plus, this is a cantrip straight up. If your things are already exiled, you can use this to just like remove 3 lands or whatever. Just get 3 dead draws out of your deck and cantrip. But generally, you just remove the exiled creatures. This list only has 2 Manipulate Fate. I've seen this as a 3 or 4 of. But this list is pretty tight. It's recognizing that the second one usually sucks, but the first one is completely insane. So I like that deck building. Another awesome thing this deck is doing that I haven't seen in practice before, I think I was vaguely aware that this is a thing you could do, but this is the first time I'm going to get to do it. Ranger Captain of Eos. does everything this deck wants to do. It's a silence effect, so when you're ready to combo, you could just sack this thing and know that it's going to work. It tutors up a creature with mana value 1 or less, such as Walking Ballista, that is mana value 0 when it's in your deck. And it is itself a creature with a pretty thick body. Like, you could just pressure with this until they answer it, or you could feed it to the food chain, or you can silence with it, and it's going to bring Walking Ballista with it no matter what. Or Ice Fang Coatl play defense, and they represent mana in play off of the eventual food chain. Endurance is here. Already mentioned Uro. Swords to Plowshares, Cantrip Suite. This is a kind of light Bant Control deck with a big combo flourish. The Ranger Captain package makes this more combo oriented than a lot of Bant food chain lists I've seen. A lot of them have like a really light food chain package in what's otherwise a pretty heavy Bant Control deck. This one's leaned in, where it's just like, I'm going to control you exactly long enough to silence you and kill you, which is pretty dope. I like that. Teferi is the fourth of that effect. It's a Force Will deck, of course. And that's food chain. As we saw with that article I wrote back in 2011, 10 years ago at this point, over 10 years ago. It's October when I'm recording this. That was written in June, so over 10 years ago. Magic's come a long way since then. Food chain is still great. Shout out to my local friend Carl Schultz, the young Carlomancer, who won a dual land recently at a local legacy event, defeated me in the Swiss pretty handily on my normal Bant Control deck, and then went on to win the tournament with Bant Food Chain. This deck is good. I've been mentioning on the channel a lot lately, just tucking a combo into Bant Control is a way you can go. I played Aloran on the channel last week. I played World Gorger Dragon on the channel last week, and Food Chain is going to complete that trifecta of combos you could shove into Bant Control. Let's get into this league. I am on the play in round number 1, and I think this hand's a mulligan. 2 food chains, you don't need 2 of that. 3 drops, too slow. Don't even know Swords to Plowshare is going to be good in the matchup. Okay, Island Ponder. You know I'm in for that. I'm going to keep this and send a Walking Ballista. I'm really looking for green mana off this Ponder. If I can get this Coatl going, then we're in business. Okay, found green. I'm going to put the Endurance 3rd down, because I do want to draw both of those lands. I'm going to need 3 mana eventually. If I decide this is a matchup I want Endurance, I just won't cast my Coatl next turn. Veteran Explorer. Generally, my rule is that you counter this card, but there are a lot of basics in my deck. I'm going to follow him. Oh, wait, no. I have Swords of Plowshares in my hand. I almost just spewed that one off. Whoops. Because I clicked it, I did just show my opponent that I have Force of Will, but it's fine. Literally holding Swords of Plowshares. Don't need to spend a Force of Will. There's a Savannah in the deck. I'm going to get that so I can cast my Coatl. Get that out of here. The thing about Nick Fit decks is if they don't do their thing, they're pretty bad. Like, jumping up to 5 mana very quickly is a powerful thing to do in Magic overall, and especially Legacy, because most decks don't get to 5 mana at all. But if you don't make that jump, then you don't get to do anything. I'm just going to spew off a Ballista here and kill this Dryad Arbor. I'm playing the resource denial game right now. If they play Dryad Arbor as their land for turn, I suspect they're not really going anywhere fast. Eternal Scourge, alright. That's a card I can put into play. I'm going to get Tropical Island here. And I am just going to cast my Scourge. This is going to... Or, nope. I'm not going to cast my Scourge. I lied. I'm going to cast my Coatl because I guess I've already shown them Ballista. The reason not to cast Scourge is that it tells them 100% hello, I'm on food chain. Nice to meet you. But Walking Ballista is kind of a smoking gun too, so I probably should have just played my Scourge. Ooh, the Chain of Smog just targeted me straight up with Chain of Smog. Do I want to just send that back and go Hellbent with them? I'm discarding Scourge and Force. I don't have a way to get Ballista back into the deck, so if I discard Ballista, the party's... Oh, I have Endurance in my deck. I can Endurance myself eventually. If we're both Hellbent and I have Coatl in play, I think that favors me. Yeah, let's fucking go. Do you want to play this game? You want to go Hellbent? I can go Hellbent. Right, they discarded a Chain and a Decay, and they've seen enough. All right. Extremely interested in a land here. Not a land, but it's not bad. It does what I needed to do next turn. If their hand is Chain plus Apprentice and they draw the land, I lose here. But they discarded another Chain to my Chain. So unless they had 3 of them, these decks sometimes have like Pernicious Deed in them or ways to, oh fuck, 4 mana. Okay. It's just Leovold. Also a scary card, but not as bad as it could have been. I'm not dead. Straight up fucking dead. Well, I drew the card I was going to tutor for with Ranger Cap. So there's that. We're going into Hierarch Pound Town here. Grab Hierarch, cast it. And I am definitely winning the race as it currently stands. Walking Ballistic gets a lot worse against Leovold because they draw a card for every time you ping. But it can still be a big creature. And if they attack, I'm definitely blocking with Ranger Cap. I would just prefer Leovold not to be in play. Bane of Smog targeting me. Okay, so we're going Hellbent. I'm definitely sending it. Oh, wait. Okay, yeah, I can send it back. They draw a card for Leovold, and then they discard it because they only had 1 card in hand. Okay, so they draw a card, and then they discard it. Second Leovold and Island. All right, there. I am not going to copy it again because there's no reason for them to draw extra cards on my watch here. Brainstorm. All right, well, that's bad news. I'm going to attack for 5 with Ranger Cap. I could guarantee 1 damage off Icefang Coatl, but I want to make this block look appealing. And 5 damage is more than 4, and they're at a multiple of 5. So I'd really like to force this block at some point so I can cast my Brainstorm. My Coatl does not have the touch, so I'm going to take my 3. Uh-oh, they're tapping a lot of mana here. Zenith for 3. Okay. Burrow. Yeah, that's a good card. I definitely need to draw some sort of payoff at this point, or Endurance is a good draw. Misthollow Griffin, always a good draw. I'm going to attack them for 5, and then I'll play the Griff. They do get to bring their Uro back. Ranger Cap only stops non-creatures, so I can't, like, time walk the Uro development. Not that I think there's any doubt left I'm on Food Chain, but now there's definitely no doubt left I'm on Food Chain. Thoughtseize. Yeah, you got me. They bring back Uro here. They go to 8. I have 5 flying damage. I'm still winning this race, but the extra cards are scary. And drawing Food Chain gives my Griffin vigilance, basically. I can attack and then exile it, then recast it. But I'm out of combo. My Ballistas are in the graveyard. I would need Endurance to combo. Swords to Plowshares would be a great draw here. Or my own Uro. They have Leovold, so it's still not that great. I'm still going to cast it. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Yeah, the 6/6 body is relevant, of course. Attack you to 3. You can attack back up to 6. Here's Uro. I'll gain my 3 life, even if I can't draw a card. Important to note, I could have fetched a basic with either of these fetch lands, which would give my Coatl Death Touch. I still think it was right to get the duels against this deck that is not going to disrupt my mana, and also it like I almost didn't have double white for Ranger Cap. I had to draw Hierarch, spend a whole turn, and then use Hierarch to cast Ranger Cap. I still was, even though I fetched duels, I was still missing a color. Zenith for 1. The time for Veteran Explorer. X-Drinker, alright. Hiss. If I draw Noble Hierarch, I win. Which also means if I draw a Ranger Cap and can tutor Noble Hierarch, I win. A Basic Forest. That does turn on the touch. And I can exile Eternal Scourge. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Alright, I'm 1 short of that. Here comes the Griffin. Oh, I should have attacked with Ranger Cap, though. Oh no, they have a 4/4. Like, fuck. Definitely should not have attacked with Ranger Cap. Glad I didn't. Forest. 1, 2, 3, 4. Uro. Exile Eternal Scourge for the combo. I don't think any of these other cards in my graveyard are relevant. The deck doesn't really use the graveyard at all. Gain 3 life, can't draw a card. They are dead on board. They have to figure this out. My flying 5/5 has done some work this game. Oh, wait. Coatl doesn't count itself. I'm not even close to Death Touch. I'm simply not going to block this Uro. They can recast it, and me having a 6/6 in play is more important than saving 6 damage. Alright, they packed it up. Just clean Bant creature action. Playing it's a Leovold deck. Definitely going to want Prismatic Ending. Don't think I want Flusterstorm. We did see Thoughtseize and Green Sun Zenith. Not sure about all that, though. Veil of Summer is good against Thoughtseize, obviously. Oh, and they're going to be a Cabal Therapy deck, too. If they have Veteran Explorer, they're going to have Therapy also. I don't know how many Veils I actually want in my deck. I think my main deck is mostly pretty well set up against them. I can shave on Force of Will. Teferi Time Raveler is basically just a defense grid, which is not a bad thing. But I think if I'm going to spend 3 mana, I want it to answer Leovold forever. And what else do I cut here? I could shave Noble Hierarchs if I'm expecting Pernicious Deed or Plague Engineer or any such thing. Just minimizing my exposure to that seems reasonable. Okay, this is what I'm going to do. I would like to board out Walking Ballista against the deck without white mana that can't exile it, but like we saw last game, if both Ballistas end up in play before I'm comboing and then they die, like get Thoughtseize, that's kind of a bad situation. I have Manipulate Fate into Food Chain. I'm going to keep this hand. I'm holding one of the Griffins, which is not ideal because there are only 3 Manipulate targets. They had the Thoughtseize. Let's see if they want Food Chain or Manipulate. Do they know how this matchup works? I would take Manipulate if this was my Thoughtseize. They took Food Chain. You got it. I can hold up Brainstorm in response to Cabal Therapy. Just make sure they don't shred my hand into garbage for free. But if they do have the Cabal Therapy Explorer, Cabal Therapy line, they're going to get me with something. Unless I draw one of my 2 Force of Wills and I get to pitch the Griffin, which feels so good. Personal Tutor, my goodness. What are they tutoring for, personally? Is this just to get more Green Sun Zeniths? Holy shit. That's wild. Manipulate Fate is a shuffle effect, so I'm going to Brainstorm here. I have to redraw one of the cards, but I do want to be spending my mana. Okay, I'm going to put back Scourge and land, and then I'm going to draw the land and exile the Scourge. Let's manipulate our fate. Exile Mist Hollow Griffin and Scourge, of course, and then I'm probably just going to pick, like, a land or something I don't want to draw. Griffin, Scourge, and maybe I don't want Noble Hierarch this game. And it was pretty good last game, and I could genuinely run out of Ranger Cap search targets. Could just exile Basic Island or Basic Forest. I have lands. I'm going to exile a Basic Island also. Okay. Here are these things. The Caracas can remove Leovold from play if I need to draw cards for a turn, but Caracas is a really bad answer to Leovold because they get to draw a card every time you bounce it. They have Zenith in hand. They can Zenith for up to 2. If they have Cabal Therapy right now, they can Zenith for their fella and Therapy me. Or they could just cast Leovold, heads up. There. Hopefully I can just shove Endurance in front of that thing. But also play Eternal Scourge. That blocks as well. Let's see if they know about playing it around Endurance. I'm going to put them to the test here. Phyrexian Tower. Oh yeah, just jammed into the red zone. Time to fetch for Tropical Island, play Endurance, and see if I can eat this Leo for free. I'm not going to target anyone with Endurance because I don't want them to draw a card. And I want my graveyard intact for Uro. Oh, we got the blocks. I'll take it. They can Zenith for the other one, but that's still not a way that you want to spend your Zenith when you could have just not attacked into Endurance. X is 2. Alright. Getting the Apprentice. Okay. Talking a lot of shit. I need a removal spell, though. Okay, Leo's out of play. Brainstorm is live. Time to brainstorm. Let's fix this hand up. Okay, Ranger Cap. That's good. I'm going to put back 2 of these fetch lands. Attack for 3. I'm going to Ranger Cap Tutor for Ballista. Cap them in their upkeep so they can't combo. And then I can pick off the thing with Ballista on a future turn. Ranger Cap. Get my Ballista. Then pass the turn. Opponents can't cast non-creature spells this turn. Silence you. They attack for 2. And I get to attack for 3 and elbow tap for Ballista. And Ballista is like checkmate against their combo, because if they go for the combo, I can let them discard their hand, drain me for 2, and then kill the thing, and they're hellbent with nothing. If they try to remove Ballista, I can just kill their apprentice in response. Shifty C. Okay. Whatever. Walking Ballista beats that too. Veil of Summer. That's a strong card. I think I want to... I can cast Griffin from hand or from exile. I can manipulate 3 shitters out of my deck. I think I want to Eternal Scourge, though. I can Scourge. I'm going to do this off of a basic land. Don't think I'm going to need basic planes this game. Cast Eternal Scourge. That can block the Ceratops if it needs to, and this lets me still Coatl and Veil. I kind of hope they did draw Abrupt Decay. Alright, did not hope they draw Uro. Okay, here's Uro. That's pretty good. I'm in the market for a Food Chain at this point. Food Chain mana can only be used to cast creature spells, not activate abilities, so this Ballista already being in play is a little unfortunate. Torpor Orb. Alright, well, I'll respond to that with my Coatl. Blue-green. Draw a card off of that. I'm probably going to Veil to Cantrip at the end of turn. I don't need 2 of this card in my hand. And they have cast a blue card in Uro. There's my Uro, which just simply arrives. No trigger. Green, blue, blue. Uro's in play now. There's that. I drew Force of Will to go with my Manipulate, or to go with my Griffin. I think I'm going to manipulate 3 shitters. No, I want to leave up Veil and Caracas. I should have attacked for 1 there. I had 1 flying damage to get in with. Whoops. But Caracas can protect my Uro or keep theirs out of play, and with Torpor Orb, they don't even get the value along the way. Please cast Abrupt Decay. Scavenging Ooze. That's not a card I care about. And no action past the turn. Deal. Pro Blue does keep Uro from damaging, but it still draws cards. Like, I can attack. If they double block, I can do Ballista shit. Oh, now they don't even get to double block. I'm just going to plow this right now. The Ceratops before blocks. That was a good draw. Now you're under real pressure. Failed to attack with my flyer again. I'm just like, yeah, that card's not in play. Now I can manipulate this turn while leaving up Caracas and Veil. Gonna manipulate some bad cards out of my deck. Cards I don't want to draw at this point include probably just 3 fetch lands. Prismatic Vista being the worst of them. There's Forests and Plains. Actually, Prismatic Vista is the best of them. Yeah, just chuck 3 lands out of the deck, draw a card. There's Food Chain. So do I win? I can win with all sorts of protection next turn. All right, I'm just going to pass. I could win with... I could go for the win with Force backup this turn, but I can go for the win with Force and Veil backup next turn. It sounds a lot better. I'm also just winning on board straight up. Might not even need a combo. Could just attack them with Uro a few more times. This Torpor Orb is fucking them up. Their Uro is so bad right now because of their own Torpor Orb, and mine is so good. Abrupt Decay. How about Veil of Summer? They do get a drain trigger off of that. Not bad. Okay. You've officially failed to kill my creature. You're going for the chain, targeting who? Targeting themselves. Okay. I will let you go, Hellbent. And then I will kill your creature. Okay. They were just testing me if I know how this works. Fair enough. Play to your outs. That was a pretty clean win. On to the next one. On the draw for round number 2, I have a hand with potential here. Like, I have Food Chain, Scourge, Ballista all present. I have no interaction, and my only cantrip is Ice Fang Coatl. Also, I need to draw land. I'm going to keep this. There's a lot going for it and a lot going against it here. This is definitely a combo hand and not a blue deck hand. Once upon a time. Okay. Are we a Chalice deck or are we an Elves deck? Arid Mesa, what the fuck? Oh, is this the, like, landfall deck? Nope. What's happening? Future Imp. Oh, is this Hogak? Vengevine? Oh, okay. It's just some, like, spew deck. Alright, well, I'm kind of glad we have the combo hand. I can Endurance them right now. That's probably what I want to do. Yeah, I'm gonna Endurance pitching Coatl and just try to get my third land and do this combo. Cool thing about Endurance, I mentioned it when I was talking about my old build of the deck with Muldrifter, but you can evoke Endurance for free. Like, pitch a green card, put it into play, and then make 4 mana with Food Chain to jump the curve a little bit. Definitely didn't need another Food Chain. My list of shit I didn't need, that is near the top. Do I need white or blue mana more? I think I want blue more, because if I draw a cantrip, I want to cast it. This game right now will come down to if this top of my deck is a mana source or not. Like, if I can just put Food Chain into play this turn, and then win next turn, this deck doesn't do a whole lot against that sort of plan. However, if I miss a land drop and they get a turn to develop, things get a whole lot worse for me. They found a second Rootwalla off of their Faithless Looting, but their other discard was Putrid Imp, which is not very good. All at 1, okay. I'm taking 2 here, 17, then 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 6. Yeah, this will be like, land right now wins this game. Not land probably loses it. Shit. Okay. I'll tread some water. The second Ballista is actually good because that lets me block Hollow One, shoot Rootwalla, absorb 7 damage. As far as bad draws go, that's one of the better ones. And they're going to flashback looting here, I bet. At least I hope. The alternatives are like hard casting Angie's Ravager, which I'm not interested in. Block Hollow One. I guess if they pump a Rootwalla, they can't flashback looting, and they'll have to decide what's more important to them. Alright. I will execute my plan of block ping. I take 4 here. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Another turn. Give me that land. Damn it! Okay. I don't think I can afford to block ping again. What does this game look like? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I take 8, I go to 5. If I draw a land, I can play Scourge, which can do what? Wait, Food Chain can cast, can eat the Hierarch to cast nothing. Yeah, I'm definitely needed the lands there. And if I put Ballista into play, what happens? I could get into the like block forever mode. Yeah, I think I have to give up on Food Chain because I'm not going to win that race. But what I can do is block ping again, and then I just have to beat a Hollow One with my Bant deck, which I may or may not be able to do. They keep making land drops, even though they have Faithless Looting in their graveyard. Not sure what that's about. Okay, I guess they are... Okay, they found exactly the card that makes this line make any sense at all. Okay, Angie's Ravager. Probably lose to that one. They're attacking with all their things. Yeah, this was disappointing. If any of those last couple draws were lands, we win this game pretty cleanly with the combo, but now it's going to be really tough to do any of that. Endurance, yeah, you're too little too late. Now I just don't have any plays. Okay, fine. That's Magic. We're playing against a graveyard deck that is mostly a creature deck. Like, it is a graveyard deck a little bit, but it uses the graveyard to leverage creatures on board. So I'm gonna board like an aggro deck first with my respect for the graveyard second. Like, if I don't have room for all of these cards, the surgicals are gonna be the ones that don't make the cut, I think. Okay, I think I want 1 fewer Food Chain That's just not a card you can afford to draw two of, like we saw that last game. Hierarch's important. We are going to have to move fast. Ranger Cap is fine. Like, it finds the Ballista, which is an important role to play. I like Manipulate. I like some of the forces. Like, forcing Lion's Eye Diamond will frequently brick their hand. I think one less Ranger Cap. And if the Surgicals are out, then we have this removal heavy deck. I could go one less ending, one extra Surgical. That gives me 3 things to interact with a turn 1 Vengevine. Or, yeah, turn 1, as I'm on the play. Don't really have to interact on turn 0. So I have Plows to deal with that too. I think Force of Will is more important on the draw than it is on the play. I'm gonna run it like this. Or I could cut one of these prismatic endings, bring the food chain back in, and just focus on comboing. Yeah, okay. Drawing 2 food chains is really bad, but I am going to need 1. I'm not actually well set up at all to beat this deck playing fair. This is a tough matchup on Bant Control, like actual dedicated Bant Control, and we have a bunch of cards that don't serve the stay alive endgame. Hey, this one's a banger. I'm going to keep it. I have Endurance and Food Chain and Mana to Jump Ahead. Removal, a cantrip, and Coatl. Hopefully I don't have to Endurance turn 1. I'd rather hardcast it turn 2. But we'll see what kind of pressure they're able to put on me. Here's my Hierarch. If I do have to Endurance this turn, I think I pitch Food Chain to it, not Coatl. Because I need an infinite creature and a Ballista before Food Chain does anything important. And Coatl is just material on the board. Oh, here we go. I guess we're burning Inquirying. Okay, I lost my Endurance, kept my Food Chain. There's an Eternal Scourge in the graveyard. They discarded a hollow one. I'm going to extract the rest of their hollow ones right now in case there's more in their hand. Okay, they have Imp, 3 Root Wallas. Oh wow, they conceded. Too late, I already saw your deck. Let's get a look at this deck. They have Ancient Grudge in the deck. Oh, that kills Walking Ballista, I guess. But that's not actually meaningful. Gamble, LEDs, 2 Ox, 4 Vengevine. Yeah, this is a pretty normal looking Madvine deck. Okay, Force of Will on the draw, I'm a lot more interested in. And I think Prismatic Ending needs to chill. Like, the Engineered Explosives, having 2 sweepers is really nice. Walking Ballista kills all the same things Prismatic Ending does, and I just need to make deck space. Not that I think Prismatic Ending isn't good, but I'm not going to submit 62 cards. I'm going to shave a Root Walla as well. Or, Root Walla. Hierarch. My Root Walla. This is the Root Walla my deck has. Yeah, I'm in. Force of Will. Now I have 7 ways to interact on turn 0 with the Surgical, 2 Endurance, 4 Force, which is going to be pretty important. Their first wave is the one you have to really survive, and then their deck gets kind of mopey after that. I have Endurance again, and Swords of Plowshares. I can keep this. I would rather have Force than Endurance, but here we are. I'm not going to mulligan a 7 like this. They milled a 6. LED. Okay. Jamble. You got a Root Walla here. That's 1 creature for the turn. What do you got with this Lion's Eye Diamond? Probably Angie's Ravager? Yeah, okay. Alright, this is actually great. They don't have Anger, which means I can just Swords to Plowshares the Ravager, and then I have to beat 2 Root Wallas with 1 land in play. Easy Swords to Plowshares here. Ballista answers Root Walla after that. What basic land do I want to get? I have to get a dual land that, like, this basic's gonna have to fill in the gap. So I have to get a white land, so it's Tundra or Savannah. Would I rather have basic island or basic forest in play on the other side? I'm gonna get Savannah and fetch basic island with my Prismatic Vista. They might just concede right now. I wouldn't blame them. Okay, they want to grind it. Cards that are actually good for them are like I don't know, Burning Inquiry. I take 4 here. I can fetch and manipulate, or... Okay, I know what I'm doing. I'm playing Ballista. That's going to block Basking, Ping, Blazing, and then next turn I just cast Endurance, which is bigger than everything they're going to do. And from there I can Food Chain or whatever the fuck, but it's not going to matter. If they don't pump their Blazing Rootwalla, I'll just let damage happen and trade with the Basking Rootwalla. It's the same thing. Okay. But I will absorb the extra 2 damage if they pump. Okie dokie, Artichokes. Endurance is live now. You want to attack your 1/1 into my 3/4. That I definitely have. Drawing Force of Will Insane here. Pitch Mist Hollow Griffin. Get that free money. I'm not interested in that happening. But fearlessly attacking. I'm gonna fetch that basic island that I told you about. There is Endurance. I'm going to target them. They have Ox of Agonis in their deck. So reducing their graveyard size matters. Now they have nothing versus my everything. If I draw Walking Ballista, I can just combo right now. Okay, attack with Endurance. Like, I can Food Chain, eat Endurance, cast Mist Hollow Griffin, infinite mana, but I don't have anything to do with infinite mana, so I'm going to just manipulate this turn. Exile Griffin, Scourge, and probably just Blooded Strand. Yeah, whatever. And a third card. Pick your favorite one. I'm not going to play this Explosives. Don't know what I need to blow up yet. If their hand is exactly Anger, LED, Angie's Ravager, that's kind of scary, but next turn I'm just putting all of these creatures into play. Even if I don't draw Ballista or a way to find it. Right, there's that Ox. Told ya. Bomb in that graveyard was worth it. I can just have these 9 power and toughness into play for the rest of the game. Endurance is getting the beats in. Then we play Chain. And Exile. Endurance for blue. Cast Mist Hollow Griffin. Exile Griffin for blue. Cast Mist Hollow Griffin. This is where this kind of breaks down on Magic Online because it's slow. But I got plenty of time to make this happen. And luckily I don't actually need to combo. I just need to put my 9 power and toughness into play. Second Griffin's in. I think it can save me a few clicks if I actually generate my mana with Eternal Scourge. These small MTG optimizations. Okay, now I can block forever. I have an Air Force. And if they were to kill one of my creatures, I would exile it instead. And then just replay it on my own turn. And on my turn, I can attack for 9, then exile all 3 of them, replay all 3 of them, and they have pseudo-vigilance. Or I could just win. That also works. But I'm going to make my attack first. Okay, they're at 8. And then exile Scourge for white. Exile Scourge for white again. Play Ranger Cap. Show you the Ballista. See if you want to waste both of our time. Or if we can just be done here. Can't cast spells this turn. Okay, looks like they want to see me click through it. It's fine. Your Magic Online opponents don't owe you a concession. But, I mean, I have 16 minutes here and their life total is already super reduced. So they really are just wasting both of our time. Okay, I think they figured out what's going on. They conceded. That was actually pretty quick. 2-0. This deck's good. On to the next one. We're about halfway through the video, so let me just remind you that if you like this deck and you want to try it out, you can use the code BoshNRoll to support the channel while you shop for cards at tcgplayer.com, and you can play any deck anytime with cardhoarder.com loan account on Magic Online. These links are in the video description below. Now back to the league. I'm on the play for round 3 with a banger. I'm going to keep this. I have Manipulate into Ranger Cap into Chain. GG. I'm going to lead on Prismatic Vista. This hand is Soft Wasteland if my opponent is doing that sort of thing. And I probably want to fetch Plains anyway with this Vista because Ranger Cap costs double white. Oh. Are we playing against the D-Day? My thoughts! Let's see what they want. Is it... I would still take Manipulate from this hand, but Ranger Cap is probably scary for the combo deck. Okay. This player is more on the level. Let's draw the other Manipulate. Other Ranger Cap. Less exciting. Brainstorm. Okay, they brainstorm, fetch, pass. Endurance. Okay. If this is Doomsday, that gives me a layer of interaction. I don't really want to shove into days here, but I need to get this game moving forward, and I don't have a fourth land rolled up to necessarily play around it anyway. Yeah, there it is. It's all right. I have another one of those. And that days is gonna come into play eventually. Like whether it hits this endurance post Doomsday or what. Let's draw a land and play around days now. Ponder. I like Ponder. Okay, finding land is cool. Don't shuffle the deck. I'm going to play the other Ranger Cap. If they daze this, that's another daze out of the hand. If they force it, I'm very happy with that exchange. I have Quaddle on top. Okay, force pitching deep analysis. So the Consider pile is no longer in their deck. Edge of Autumn, Float Plaque, Cycle Edge of Autumn. They must be going for it now, or just really desperate. They are running out of life points to work with. If they D-Day now, they go to 5. And I do have creatures in my deck. Oh wow, yeah, they're spinning their wheels here. I bet they have Dark Ritual, but not Doomsday. Or vice versa. They haven't had 3 mana yet at any point this match. Wow, okay. That was rough. I feel for them. I actually won a paper tournament with Doomsday yesterday at the time of this recording. I'm recording it on Monday. The tournament was on Sunday. And I felt those moments, like, when you're in the trenches playing Doomsday, it really is like, wow, that sucks. Okay, they suspended Profane Tutor. That's certainly something. Blue-green, Ice Fang Quaddle. I'm not going to play the Endurance yet. That just has too much game to it. Ballista. Interesting. I'm going to Brainstorm because the Swords to Plowshare is real bad. I don't have blue for this Uro right now. I think I want to put Uro on top, and I can play my land, play Noble Hierarch, and attack for 2. All the damage you deal before Doomsday is important, and I'm actually going to jam this Ballista into play too. Wait, no, maybe not, because there is a line here where I just fair and square Endurance, or Food Chain, just make like 8 mana or whatever, and Ballista them for 4. No, I think I do want the damage dealing material in play. They're clearly sputtering over there, and I want them to die for it. Profane Tutor is wild. I don't believe that's better than Personal Tutor. I don't think you could sell me on that. They didn't have Doomsday again. Their Profane Tutor is coming down next turn, though. My options include Uro, blue, green, colorless. Yeah, here's Uro. Let's do that. Yeah, there's the Swords to Plowshares that I know I didn't want. I'm not going to bounce my Uro. I like it in the graveyard. Back for 2. I can hardcast Endurance, or I can pitch cast it to play around days. Is probably the play. If it comes to Endurancing this turn. Oh, there's their Profane Tutor. It is time for that. Are they finally going to put a Doomsday on this deck? If they Doomsday, they go to 3, and I have 3 damage sitting in play. They need to win the game right now through an Endurance. There's Dark Ritual, Doomsday. A Deep Analysis is in exile. They have 4 cards in their hand. It's kind of a lot. I'm 1 mana short of killing them if they Force of Will. Maybe I'm not supposed to Uro on my turn. I knew my top card was Swords to Plowshares. Maybe I just leave up 4 mana so I can pump Ballista. Yeah, that's the play, because then I can pay for days with Endurance, and if they force, they go to 2, and then I can pump Ballista and then ping ping. All 4 of their forces are in exile, though, so I got that going for me. And if they cycle a Street Wraith, they die. Pact of Negation is probably in the pile. And Plow can mess up the Oracle if they don't go for a full empty pile here. They're under a lot of pressure to win this game right now through a couple different types of disruption. Okay, cycling Edge of Autumn. They didn't sack LED in response, or they didn't hold priority. If they had sacked LED there, yeah, I think they forgot to hold priority on LED, But if they sack LED and go Hellbent, that's where I endurance them and fill up their deck so they can't win this turn. They probably think they messed up, but I had it covered. Okay, that was fun. Flusterstorm comes in. Veil of Summer. We saw Thoughtseize in the main deck. I do like Veil in that world. Don't really like Surgical Extraction against Doomsday in general. It's not nothing. Like hitting... Like if we win a counter war and then can extract their Doomsday or their Oracle, obviously that's the dream. You can also just Surgical post-Doomsday, force them to shuffle, and then maybe things get weird. Teferi's excellent. Swords of Plowshares is just bad, so I do have at least 4 free slots. Yeah, Teferi extra punishing because they have Profane Tutors. Just leave that on suspend, thank you. Ranger Cap also punishes Profane Tutor. Force of Will is obviously required. Burrow's kind of a stinker. If I do it this way, I get 1 Surgical. It's not a card I want 2 of. Like I said, I'm not even sure I want the first one. You could argue I want Carpet, but I don't really think that I do. I guess it depends on how fast they're going to be. Like, Carpet would have been great in that game 1 that we just played, but if they just writ Doomsday, then Carpet is a blank. I'm going to go with this. This one's kind of a heartbreaker. Endurance isn't going to win the game on its own, and I can't play this hand without blue mana. This, if either of these was a dual fetch or basic island, I'm snapping it off, but it's a mulligan. That's more like it. Keep, send a food chain to the bottom. A Ponder. They did not shuffle the Ponder. Scary. I'm going to Ponder myself. Having Griffin's great. Gives me an easy pitch to Force of Will if I find Force of Will. This is kind of bad, though. Like, Veil doesn't stop Doomsday. Ranger Cap's a while away. I don't need a land. Yeah, this is a shuffle. If I had drawn Veil for the turn, I would have just played Tropical Island and passed. But I can't keep that Ponder. They have Doomsday, probably backed up by Daze. I need to, A, survive this turn, B, draw a good card. I currently am not set up to do either of those things. This is why I didn't board in Carpet of Flowers. There's only 3 forces in exile, so they do have force backup for what's going on, which means that I have to draw exactly Brainstorm and then Brainstorm into 2 relevant interactive spells. Because I can't, my hand doesn't beat Force of Will. My hand doesn't beat Doomsday, much less the Force of Will backup that we know that they have. They did exile Consider and Deep Analysis, so they're probably passing the turn. Unless they had a Cycler in their hand already. That's a reason to keep going. Storm. Yeah, they can just... No, they'll have 3 cards in their deck. They'll have to, like, cycle, pedal. Yeah. Cycle, pedal. Oracle with force backup wins this game. Lion's Eye Diamond Cycler also does the same thing. See if they know how to hold priority now. Okay, they learned. They did just discard the Force of Will, though. Like, all of those best laid plans. Yeah, what if I just had Endurance right now? I don't think that was a good pile. And it beat my hand because my hand just isn't doing anything, but they did all that work to sculpt with Force of Will in their hand and then took an LED line that discards it. I think they could have slowed that down a little bit and done it more stably. I don't think my sideboard plan changes. Just gonna hope for a better opener. Maybe I'll mulligan more aggressively in interaction. We'll see. No, I'm just gonna have a perfect 7. Don't worry about it. This 7 is not bad. I'm gonna keep it. It needs green mana, but I do have Flusterstorm on 1. I can Brainstorm looking for more mana. Eventually I'll be able to manipulate. This hand is totally fine. Flusterstorm among the better interactive things you can do on turn 1, because it'll counter Thoughtseize for sure. It'll also counter Writ Doomsday for sure. Play my island and ship it. Petal. Suspended Profane Tutor. Sweet. Okay, I'm gonna draw. And I'm gonna Brainstorm. Hope they don't daze it. That would be aggro as fuck if they daze this. They're thinking about it. One of my favorite things to do, though, is when people aggro daze my turn 2 Brainstorm and then just play a land anyway. Alright, they dazed it, sure. You got it. Here's my land anyway. Go. That is good, obviously. Like, setting them back a mana feels pretty good for me. I'd really like a green land right now, though. Okay. That brainstorm, or that daze, is probably going to pay them out, but if they tutor for Doomsday, cast Doomsday, I still have my Fluster. I could Fluster the Profane Tutor. I don't think I want to, though. I'd rather fight over Doomsday. Though you can't get any card with Profane Tutor. That is the power of that card. Dark Ritual, Storm is 1 million. If they have their own Fluster Storm, I think I still win this counter war because I can pay for one of their Flusters. Like, just pick one to sneak through. Okay, cool. Their Doomsday is countered. And they pondered. Now we're just sort of scrapping. I'm going to have to try to find green mana or make something happen before they get their second wind. Yikes. Time to manipulate. And two of my things I'd want to manipulate are in my hand. I'm not going to manipulate 3 lands this time because that is what I want. I think Ranger Cap is a reasonable thing because, like, that's not a card I want to draw at all. Or one of back of Veil of Summer doesn't matter. Oh no, it's in 2 food chains because I'm already holding one. I don't want to draw another one. Actually, I just want to exile the 3 food chains. That's just not my plan at all. Okay, cool. I should have, well, I should have done the Griffin. There was one more Griffin in the deck. It should have been Griffin, 2 food chains. I just got excited and smashed buttons. I'm holding up Veil instead of Hierarch here. Maybe I should Hierarch, but they haven't shown me a discard spell yet. Shit. Okay. Oh, there's Doomsday. I'm probably going to Veil in the end step just to draw a card. Veil is also a Hail Mary here, where I can Veil, draw a card, find Force or Endurance. Okay, I'm going to Veil now. I think drawing the extra card is more important than having Veil next turn. Like, if I had a Force or a Endurance in my hand, I would want to keep the Veil, but I don't. Need to find those things. Definitely regretting not playing that Hierarch. Uh-oh, drew another Hierarch. And, okay, and Endurance. All right, I'll run this Hierarch out there. Let's see if they took a greedy LED line again. Please. Oh, no, they exiled the LED. 1, 2, 3, 4. All their forces are gone. Consider. If I Endurance now, we probably have Pact of Negation. Yeah, I think I'm losing to Pact here. Oh, they kept the card. Endurance, pitch, Hierarch. How'd we do? Yeah, Pact of Negation. Okay. Yeah, unfortunately, I needed to Veil to draw that Endurance. It's not like I got impatient and... Oh, I guess... No, then they just packed the Veil. Like, you could argue... Like, they have to cast this blue spell on their combo turn, so I would see the same card off Veil if I do it this turn. Like, if I respond to Consider, like, they went Wraith, Consider. If I respond to Consider with Veil, I see all the same cards, and it's mid-combo, and I get the Veil shield up for the turn. Yeah, maybe that was better. Maybe that's what I should have done. But that denies me the ability. Like, if my Veil draws Ponder instead of Endurance straight up, I'm going to wish I had Pondered on my own turn. I think the play I made was fine, but doing it the other way would have worked out better in this specific case. But, like, Ponder, Manipulate, there are reasons. Ranger Cap, like, there are a lot of reasons to do it when I did it instead of the other way. Okay, that was really close, actually. On to the next one. On the draw, in round number 4. I like this hand. I'm going to keep it. It jumps out pretty quick with the Hierarchs. I have Force if I need it. Brainstorm to juice the hand up. Uh-oh. Are we getting Chalice of the Voided? Okay, Grim Monolith. A Chalice is not a card that this hand is well suited to defeat. Okay, I'll fight through a Matter Reshaper. I'm not spending Force of Will on that. Hierarch. Warping Whale my Hierarch. Yeah, okay. That's a deal. And then Cloud Post eating the city. That was a pretty wild opening sequence. I feel like for all the things they did, it should have been better. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they used a land that's going to die to play an artifact they only get to use once to play a 3/2 creature. And then they sacked their land that taps for 2 to play a land that taps for 1. I don't feel like the juice was worth the squeeze there. Like, we'll see where the game goes. Obviously, if they have like Vesuva or another Cloud Post and start pulling ahead and are able to untap their monolith later, that's all pretty cool. But Matter Reshaper is not Trinisphere, nor is it Chalice of the Void, or even Thought-Knot Seer. Like, that was just like a lot of throwing resources around for little gain. I'm coaddling this turn. They do have the second post. I'm going to have to combo this opponent. I don't think I'm going to beat them fair. Waddle. Uro. Swords to Plowshares. That's not a bad card. Uro. Go, go, go. I'm hoping Uro draws Griffin. Like something I'm happy to pitch to Force Will, because I kind of want this Brainstorm. Uro's in and draws Walking Ballista. Play the land. I think I want to commit Noble Hierarch this turn. And I want to do it off of Tropical Island. Get another blue. In Ranger Cap is double white, but that's not what I'm looking for here. Okay. I hope they don't do anything I need to Force of Will this turn, because I kind of need this Brainstorm. But we'll see. I have it if I need it. They have 4 mana available. I hope they just spend the turn untapping their Monolith, and then trying to go for a big turn after that. 2, 4, 7. I am not going to trade with this Reshaper, give them the cantrip. Uro is going to completely invalidate the life lost from this thing. Okay. Coatl. Cool. Brainstorm. They're untapping their Monolith. You got it. Don't love that. Okay. Put 2 back. Fetch. Play Uro. Wait, I'm 1 short. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 1 short on Uro. JK, not playing Uro. Attack for my 2. We have 2, 4, 6, 7. 2, 4, 6, 9 mana. They could Ulamog me next turn. Obviously, not an ideal situation. Coatl is my blue card right now, so I can't really cast it. If they do Ulamog me, I think I'll let it resolve and plow it rather than force it. I can't play Ballista because I need that available in my... I could put Ballista, just cast it for 0, play Uro right now. Do I think that's a better play than having Ballista in my hand in the future? Like, is bearing down with Uro going to win this game better than comboing off with Food Chain is? Also, by playing Ballista, I tell them 100% I'm a combo deck. Like, right now, they just think I'm Bant Control. I like that. Oh, I'm also holding up Hardcast Force, which I'm a big fan of. Glimmer Post, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. They have 12 mana now. Not going to block. Ulamog's obviously a problem, because it can beat up my mana to the point where I can't get Uro into play, necessarily. I know my top card's a land. Thought-Knot Seer. We can check my hand and still have 4, 5, 6, and still have 8 mana left. I'm going to Hardcast Force. I fetched a 3rd white source, so even if they do Ulamog, I can still plow it. They just had nothing in past. That's the right answer. Manipulate. That's a good one, usually. Okay, I'm going to manipulate some fates here. Now the jig is up. They know I'm a combo deck, but it's time to step on the gas anyway. Exile the 3 things that you exile here. Ponder. If Ponder finds Food Chain, we do it here. Ponder. Nope. Shuffle. Food Chain. Coatl. Okay. That did not find what I was looking for. An attack here. I think I want to play one of these Coatls on my turn, because if they find Force of Will, or if they find Ponder, I want to be able to cast it. All right. Didn't find Ponder. If it finds Force, that's like the card I'm most interested in anyway. Still not blocking this. I'm going to 5. Walking Ballista is lethal. But that's going to get me anyway. Walking Bliss is not an Eldrazi spell, so that's not what's happening right now. It is Ulamog, okay. Targeting what? Ulamog's not that scary right now. Going after... Okay, I'm going to float white. Exile 2 things. Ulamog resolves. Swords to Plowshares. Go ahead, gain 10. If I win, I win. That's not what this game's going to be about. Ranger Cap. I think I would rather... Oh, I can't Uro. Then, in that case, I'll Ranger Cap. Oh, wait. I want Noble Hierarch here. Ranger Captain. Tutor up Noble Hierarch. Play Noble Hierarch. Attack for 2. Maybe I'm not supposed to attack for 2. I don't know. Like, do I die to Reality Smasher? No. Uh-oh. They're tapping big mana again. All is dust. Alright, maybe I should have Ranger Capped. Okay. I'm at 2. And they have Golos. Yikes. Okay, I still win if I draw Food Chain because I can evoke the Endurance. Come on, Food Chain off the top. Let's do this. Combo deck. Ponder into Food Chain. Let's go combo deck. Food Chain. Do not shuffle my library. All right, here we go. Food Chain. Evoke Endurance. Here is the line. Target them. Why the hell not? It doesn't matter. Exile this to make blue. And that should do it. Unfortunately, I can't show them the Ballista in my hand, but I do have a lot of time on the clock. And that's the combo. I will bring you all back when the opponent is dead. I have 54 mana floating now. I'm going to cast Ballista for 25. I'm leaving enough mana in the pool to play Eternal Scourge again if they do something and I need to like start making infinite mana and cast Uro and YOLO this. Oh, I guess they're Hellbent, aren't they? I didn't need to make the extra 4 mana. Anyway, here's Ballista for 25. And ping them down to nothing. Probably took 4 or 5 minutes to execute. And the opponent's letting me do it. So, plenty of time to win game 2. I do have to combo them, though. Like, the Bant half of this deck is not going to beat 12 post. And I don't have Back to Basics or Wasteland or any such thing. I should be settling in and playing like I need every second of my clock. Because I will. And they're dead. For the sideboard, I like Collector Oof. And I think I like Prismatic Ending a little bit. Being able to hit like Monolith, beat up their ramp is kind of important. Is there any sort of cheese factor that I can employ here? I don't think so. Teferi is actually really good. Uro is the closest thing to a cheese factor I have. I don't think Ranger Cap is very good. They don't have a whole lot of spells in their deck. Maybe I just want Ending and leave the Oof out, and that's the plan. Looks good to me. Maybe I could have shaved a Swords to Plowshares for an Oof, just like another thing that attacks, and Plow's not the most important. I'm gonna keep this hand. It's interactive in the ways that I need to be interactive. Manipulate sets up the food chain. Maybe. Grim Monolith, you got it. They have 5 mana right now. Another Grim Monolith, okay. They're really swinging for the fences here. Golos. That's worth forcing. Especially since I have the Griffin anyway. And I think I do want to do a rare end-step Brainstorm here off of Tundra. Because I really do want to hit my second land and manipulate. On curve. That was lucky. A close call on that one. You're gonna need a green source and a food chain at some point here. Exile the Scourge and the remaining Griffin and probably the other Ranger Cap. That's just not a card I want to draw. And I already have 1 to tutor for the Ballista with. You're gonna need a land, and they still have 5 mana despite clipping the Golos. Need some green mana here. We'll take any mana, honestly. If I can cast... Actually, I don't really want blue, but alright, got there. Had it the whole time. Don't worry about it. I'm actually going to Coatl now in case I draw Ponder. Okay, they're untapping a Monolith. Brainstorm, that's kind of like Ponder, but better. I can Brainstorm into Force if I need to. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. They have 10 mana, they could Ulamog here. I'm just going to plow Ulamog. They're probably going to hit 2 lands. Oh, Chalice on 3. That Do I care about that? Interesting. A brainstorm. See if I care about it and if I can answer it. I'm not gonna fight over this. Okay. Yeah. Chalice on 3 resolves. Might regret that, but there you go. Ponder. Endurance I can't cast. Ballista. I'm gonna shuffle this. Kind of looking for lands here. And maybe I should have countered that. I don't know. Their life total is pretty low, and they are low on cards in hand as well. The prismatic ending, I only have 1 in the deck. All is dust. Do I care about that? No. Land? Uro? Another 3. All right, at least I can pitch that 3 to Force of Will. Okay. You know, if I can get my Griffins in and start taking to the skies here, this isn't the worst. Investing in the future, untapping Monolith, Arrakis. So they picked up a mana and lost a mana on that turn. Hierarch, go in. Back for 2, put them to 11. Because they have Caracas, I actually do need to force Ulamog, because I can't plow it. So they're a mana short of Ulamog. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, yeah. Reality Smasher. Am I racing that? I'm gonna try. I could just plow this. Yeah, that makes sense. Plow it, discard Uro, so it's in the graveyard for later, just in case. Well, now I can start Griffining. Griffin, attack for 2. Still have a force for the next thing, but they have 2 things in hand. They did just gain 5 off my plow. They can cast Ulamog here. All is dust. Each player sacrifices all permanents they control that is more than 1 color, or 1 or more colors. I don't think this is where I put my Force of Will. I can Griffin again. Alright, yeah. Cool. Now I have a Force. And I can escape Uro, even though it gets countered, it does put my Griffins back into exile. That's a good card. Let's find that 1 of Prismatic Ending. Alright, no love there. Ranger Cap, you're out. Endurance, you're out. Attack for 3, and then play Ballista for 2. That'll speed things up. I'm gonna get Savannah here and just make sure my mana is perfect. Okay, they're dead on board. And I have Force of Will. Ulamog stabilizes for at least a turn, but the Griffin will be back, because that's how the Griffin works. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, left all 3. They could have hardcast Emrakul there. I'm glad that didn't happen. Ooh, Drew Ending. But even if they survive this turn somehow, Warping Whale to make a 1/1. I'm pretty sure I have lethal here. So that resolves. Plow this. They go to 8. I buff Ballista. Yeah, they're dead. Put a counter on Ballista, and I get to keep my Force of Will back. Who needs 3 drops? Another Warping Whale. Alright, this one I'll force, because now they're hellbent. Get out. I said we weren't going to be able to cheese this deck. I was wrong. We did it. Just some well-timed Force of Wills. Just play the Delver strat. Old turn 10 tempo deck. I'll take it. On to the final round. Positive records lock, going for that 4-1. I'm on the play in this 4-1 game here. I'm keeping this insane hand. I get to Hierarch into turn 2 Uro. And I'm holding back Endurance and Force. It's not even Endurance or Force. It's Endurance and Force, just in case. Because I have Hierarch, I'm going to lean in on non-basics. I'm just going to drop Hierarch here. If they waste me, then I have Hierarch, and I'm still ahead of that. And if they're not a Wasteland deck, I'm going to wish I had dual lands. Mox. Oh, Chrome Mox. Okay. In my brain, that was automatically Mox Diamond, but it's Chrome Mox. So we're playing against Red Stompy. I can ignore Chalice of the Void if that's what they're doing. Blood Sun. That's actually a beating. Because that, if this was Blood Moon, I would barely care. Blood Sun does a lot to fuck with me, though. I think I'm going to force Pitch Ponder, just out of necessity. And then I can Uro next turn and try to be ahead of whatever. I actually don't want to Uro this turn. I want to hold up Endurance if they have like Rabble Master or something. Or if they flash in. If they cast another Moon effect, I want to know which one it is. Like if it's Blood Sun, I can just fetch anything in response. Blood Moon, I can whatever. Oh, what just happened? Oh, they're stomping. Sure. Float green. I'm going to get Tundra. And then cast Endurance. Target nobody. I want my graveyard. Coatl. Green, blue. I'm doing it main phase because I'm trying to hit my land drop. Didn't get there. That's fine. Begin the beats. They have 2 cards left in their hand. They don't have a mana source, or at least they didn't last turn. There's not a lot of 2 mana cards in this deck. There's basically like Chalice and Stomp. Okay. They play in the Bone Crusher. Deal. Land? Force of Will. That might be better than a land. Green. Blue. Still trying to hit my land drop. Easy game. I'm going to get Savannah. Just complete the perfect mana trifecta, plow your idiot, and continue attacking. Don't really want... Yep, forgot that I had this creature in play. You're at 17. I was thinking about my hand. I don't really want to pitch Uro to force, because Uro is the type of card that just clowns this kind of deck. But I'm pretty far ahead, and I just want to make sure I stay there. What do I need to worry about out of Karn? Like, Ensnaring Bridge? If they plus, Karn is at 1, and they can't activate it. If they minus, Karn just dies. I'm going to roll the dice here. I just really don't want to pitch my Uro if I don't have to. Okay, they are making a wish for Ensnaring Bridge. Okay. The read was right. Walking Ballista. That's always a fun card to have when your opponent has Karn. But they won't have Karn for long. I'm going to Uro. I know it's my blue card, but I want to get this going. And I'll just draw another blue card anyway. No problem. Attack Karn with Endurance. Attack opponent with Snex. They have 3 cards in their hand, and they haven't exactly emptied their hand quickly so far this game. Like, I imagine that my snakes will continue beating for quite some time, even if they get the bridge down this turn. And if they can't get 2 cards out of their hand, Endurance gets to keep attacking too. Chalice is fine. That's not what this game's about. I draw a land, and Uro is coming in. Okay. They have gotten Hellbent. This is about Ensnaring Bridge. Like, cheesing them out at this point is the game plan. Attack with all my creatures. I am going to play the Ballista. It's just extra damage on the board, which is what this game is about at this point. That does tell them I'm food chain, which I don't think they knew until this point. But now there's no doubt at all. Chronosphere, yeah, too late for that. Force of Will, perfect. Okay. They're dead in 2 turns, and I have a counterspell in my hand. That's called deterministic. I hope they drew a really good card for me to force. It's a fine card. Still going to force it. Even get to pitch the Griffin for the full value train. And they scooped it up. They saw me lose the 1 life point for Force of Will, and then it was just like, yeah, you got it. Okay, Red Prison. Prismatic Endings coming in. Probably like Engineered Explosives as well. Force of Will, Essential. The Fairy will be very good. Plow's good, Manipulate's good. I think Ranger Cap kind of sucks. Ranger Cap's insane against blue decks, but we've played against a number of non-blue in this league, which has made it look kind of bad. I could shave a food chain, because my job is to stay alive in this matchup, not really combo kill them quickly or anything. Like, this is a matchup where I'd rather be Bant Control than food chain. And I am going to lean into that, but I'm going to leave the combo. Like, food chain's still going to be in the deck, so it's still there to dig for once I'm stable if I need it. This hand's really scary because it's very good if my opponent... I keep this hand every single time on the play, but this hand loses to Blood Moon, Blood Sun, Chalice, and Trinisphere, just straight up. Because I can't fetch if it's Blood Sun, this is a mountain if it's Blood Moon. I imagine they don't have Blood Moon. They're probably a Blood Sun deck. You probably don't play both. But Chalice, I really hate losing to Chalice. I'm going to mulligan this. Okay, this hand doesn't lose to Chalice. It has game to play through it, is what I mean by that. I'm going to bottom Griffin. This hand is in trouble to Blood Sun. Just hope I get 1 turn of development before they do that. There's no Force of Negations in this list, That's the card that really flipped the script on the control versus prison decks. Having the 5th or 6th copy of Force to interact on turn 0 really changed all of the math and the how this matchup tends to play out. But I'm playing Food Chain instead. So go nuts, opponent. Your spell resolves whatever it is. You got City of Traders, Simian Spirit Guide, and Blood Moon. Okay, they are a Blood Moon and Blood Sun deck. That's surprising. That's fine. I have a basic. I have a lot of basics in my deck. Let's see if I can draw a blue one before it's too late. That did set them back from 2 mana to 1. But now we're in the danger zone. If they have a Rabble Master right now, could be in some trouble. I hope it's just like Trinisphere or something that I don't really care about. Nope, Rabble Master confirmed. Yeah, this was a play draw game. If I just have fetch land and I can fetch basic island in response to Blood Moon, this game is a laugher. But instead, we're going to be working pretty hard. I have Engineered Explosives in the deck. I can sweep out the Goblin tokens before I'm dead. Like, I am drawing 2 actual outs here. But also, still draw... The Food Chain doesn't really help here. Yeah, the second Rabble Master is probably going to shut the door. I don't have a Terminus or like Real Sweeper that can take out the Rabble Master as well as all its friends. And if I draw explosives, it means I didn't draw land and I need both to function. So this isn't really... Alright, yeah, we're done. Okay. They got me good. Now I'm on the play, which just completely changes what I need to be scared of. I'm submitting this, I guess, Endurance. No, Endurance is a fat body. Like, I'd rather have just a body that can brick or trade with Rabble Master than Food Chain that can win the game if a bunch of other pieces are in place. So I am going to leave the 2 Endurances where they are. And this is going to be my plan. Let's just see a hand with like 2 basics and Hierarch. I'll play that game all day. A non-basic that doesn't cast this Hierarch, that's a mulligan. 2 basics and Hierarch. Oh, I guess I can't get basic, but I can fetch the Hierarch. Yeah, this is fine. I'm going to keep it and send Endurance. If my Hierarch gets stomped, that sucks pretty hard. But it's okay. I'm going to get Savannah because that's the land that taps for things that Island doesn't. Living in this fantasy world where my lands actually matter. Stomping my Hierarch would suck, but that would be their turn. Okay. I am set up for Blood Moon this game. And they pitched 2 Spirit Guides to do it. That was a big bet. I'm just going to hold up mana here. I can Coatl if they don't do anything. I can Plow if they Rabble. Okay. Green, blue. Coatl's in. Finds Endurance. Eternal Scourge. Hell yeah. I think I want to Brainstorm, though. Okay, that's kind of ugly. The Uro is not terrible. Endurance is miles away from being relevant here. I can draw Eternal Scourge next turn. And I can just attack for 2 now. Begin the beats. They went all in on that Blood Moon. They didn't have a follow-up play, which is kind of... It's a relief because they didn't do anything, but it's also scary because it's like, what is your hand that's worth keeping? What are the 5 spells in your hand right now that are worth that risk? I can Uro to get through the cards I know, the card I know I don't want. I could Eternal Scourge to get on board. I think I want to Scourge. Doing it pre-combat. I imagine they would have stomped my Hierarch if they were going to do it by now, but if they had like Spirit Guide Stomp, I didn't want to lose that mana during combat. Still no plays. All in on Blood Moon has failed them. I'm going to Brainstorm now. Let's try to find some more mana. Ooh, yeah, that's some mana. I will put Engineered Explosives and Swords to Plowshares on top of my deck. And then I can attack for 4. I'm just going to attack for 4 with Scourge. It's the same damage, and this way I leave back a blocker. And I can force something this turn, pitching Mist Hollow. Who do I force this? I think it would be reasonable to do. I'm not going to do it, though. I think I can just, like, crush them with my Value Engine next turn. I don't have the combo loaded up, but I do have infinite mana. I can just replay my creatures forever. Chalice has not been part of my plan for quite some time. Guess I could have Brainstormed in response just to pull ahead a little, but should be fine. And attack for my 4 again, and play a bunch of creatures. Put them dead on board with Force in my hand. Welcome to Value Town. So this for blue. Play Mist Hollow. Yeah, they know what's going on here. I don't have the combo, but I'm going to pass the turn with Griffin, Scourge, Coatl, Endurance, and Uro in play with Force backup. Easy 4-1. This deck felt really good. We went 4-1, only losing to Doomsday, which was really close. Like it came down to one spell or like one piece of interaction against the Doomsday matchup. We took them to 3. This was pretty great. The Ranger Captain, this is the card I was most excited about during the deck tech at the beginning of the video, and it was only fine. I don't think I'd play 3. I think it was really cool, but 2 seems like a good number. Also, like I said, it really shines in the blue matchups where we basically didn't play any. We played against a bunch of combo and prison. You could replace Ranger Cap with a second Teferi, which is just a more generally useful card, but not as specifically powerful. If you want to sort of average out where the power is distributed in your deck, I think that's the thing you could do. You could play a third Uro or a third... I wouldn't play a third Endurance, I'm lying. A third Uro, you could really lean into the Bant Control side of the deck. I think those are all better ways to use this third Ranger slot. Keep 2, but you don't need all 3. The sideboard did what it was supposed to do. I wish I could fit Prismatic Ending in the main. Like, I'm trying to think of where it would go. Even just like 1 or 2 of them. Maybe like 3 Plow, 2 Ending, cut something else. Maybe instead of another 3-drop, you play 3 Plow, 2 Ending and cut the Ranger Cap. Because there are cards that are problems that are not creatures. And, I mean, Teferi does a similar role. Like, if you turn the Ranger Cap slot into a second Teferi, that kind of checks that ending box. You could go 3 Plow, 1 Ending, 2 Teferi. That's the thing you could do. I think I like that distribution the best, actually. Anyway, this deck was super cool. We got to be Bant Control. We got to be Combo out of nowhere. We even got to do the Evoke trick once, where it actually won the game. Like, we were not winning the game without Evoke into 4 free mana out of nowhere. That was awesome. Walking Ballista appeared as a reasonable creature on rate more times than it showed up as a combo kill. And that's the power of this deck. Legacy combo decks are powerful, but you know what they're doing. If you came there to beat them, you can really focus in on, like, I got my Null Rods, I got my Flusterstorms, I got my Mindbreak Traps, you know, my Containment Priests, like whatever it is, you can really dial in. But when a control deck just has a combo tucked into it, and when their combo can also just be an insane value engine, like the Fair Food Chain that just leaves you with 9 unkillable power in play, like 9 vigilance, indestructible power in play at all times, plus threatening. If I draw Ballista, you're just dead. That is a serious engine. I have a lot of respect for Food Chain. I love this deck, love this card, and I'm glad I got the chance to revisit it. So thank you, Michael and Tales of Adventure, for sponsoring this league. I hope everyone had fun watching it. Remember to like and subscribe the video and the channel. Leave your comments in the comments section below. If you want me to play your decks, check out the Patreon or YouTube membership. That's a join button underneath the video. Click it, check it out, and I'll see you next time.